Video Phantom! Scary stories!
Before we begin, please make sure you visit our Video Phantoms website every day and check out all of the new content and cool stuff we have for you over there. Also make sure you subscribe to the channel so you won't miss whenever we upload next. With that being said, let's grab your popcorn and enjoy the video.
It was a dark and stormy night when Phil, Josh, and April stumbled upon an old antique shop. They were all avid collectors of unique items, and they couldn't resist the temptation to explore the shop's treasures. As they browsed through the various items, Phil stumbled upon a dusty old doll. It was a porcelain doll with a cracked face and missing eye. Despite its worn appearance, Phil felt drawn to the doll and decided to purchase it. Little did he know, the doll was haunted by the spirit of a young girl who had died tragically years ago. As soon as the doll entered Phil's home, strange things began to happen. Objects would move on their own, strange whispers could be heard in the night, and the doll seemed to have a life of its own. At first, Phil thought it was just his imagination, but as time went on, he realized that something was seriously wrong. He confided in Josh and April, who were skeptical at first, but eventually began to witness the strange occurrences for themselves. As the days went on, the haunting became more intense. The doll seemed to be growing more powerful, and the spirit that inhabited it became more and more malevolent. It would move on its own, its eyes would follow them around the room, and they could hear the sound of laughter and giggles coming from it at night. They tried to get rid of it, but every time they attempted to dispose of the doll, it would always find its way back to Phil's house. One night, Phil woke up to a strange feeling. He felt like something was watching him, and he could hear a faint whisper coming from the doll. When he turned on the light, he saw that the doll had moved on its own and was now sitting on his bedside table, staring at him with its one good eye. Phil tried to get out of bed, but he felt like he was being held down by an invisible force. He tried to scream, but no sound came out of his mouth. Suddenly, the doll started to move, and Phil realized with horror that it was trying to strangle him. Josh and April heard Phil's screams and rushed to his room. They found him lying on the bed, gasping for air, with the doll tightly wrapped around his neck. They tried to pull the doll off, but it wouldn't budge. It was like the doll had a mind of its own and was determined to kill Phil. Just as they were about to give up, the doll suddenly released its grip and fell to the ground. Phil lay on the bed, gasping for air and trembling with fear. Josh and April helped him to his feet and tried to calm him down. They knew that something had to be done about the haunted doll, and they came up with a plan to get rid of it for good. They decided to take the doll to a nearby abandoned house and leave it there. They hoped that the spirit would be trapped in the house and would no longer be able to harm anyone. They drove to the house, which was situated at the end of a long, winding road. The house was old and decrepit, with broken windows and a crumbling facade. They cautiously entered the house, holding the doll in their hands. As they walked through the dusty corridors, they could feel a sense of unease creeping up on them. They knew that they had to be quick and get rid of the doll before it was too late. They found a room at the end of the corridor and placed the doll on the floor. They quickly left the room and closed the door behind them. As they were about to leave the house, they heard a strange noise coming from the room where they had left the doll. It sounded like a child's laughter, but they knew it was not a child. It was the spirit of the doll. They tried to ignore it and quickly left the house, hoping that the doll would be trapped there forever. The next day, Phil, Josh, and April met at Phil's house to discuss what had happened. They were relieved that the doll was finally gone, but they couldn't shake off the feeling that something was still not right. As they talked, they heard a knock on the door. Phil went to see who it was, but when he opened the door, there was no one there. They went back to the living room, but they could still hear the knocking. It was coming from the attic. They slowly climbed up the stairs and opened the door to the attic. There, in the middle of the room, was the haunted doll. They were shocked and terrified. They had left the doll in the abandoned house, but it had somehow found its way back to Phil's house. They knew that they had to do something to get rid of it once and for all. They decided to seek the help of a paranormal expert. The expert came to Phil's house and examined the doll. He confirmed that it was indeed haunted and that the spirit was very powerful. He suggested that they perform a ritual to cleanse the doll of the spirit that possessed it. They agreed to do whatever it took to get rid of the doll. The ritual was complicated and involved a lot of chanting and burning of incense. They followed the instructions of the expert and performed the ritual. As they finished, they heard a loud scream coming from the doll. It shook violently and then fell to the floor, lifeless. They knew that the spirit had left the doll and that it was finally free of its possession. They were relieved and grateful that they had finally gotten rid of the haunted doll. They thanked the expert and promised to never mess with the supernatural again. From that day on, they lived without any incidents. They had learned their lesson and knew that some things were better left alone. They would never forget the experience they had with the haunted doll, and they knew that they had come out of it stronger and wiser, or so they thought. But as time went on, strange things started happening again. Phil's house was plagued by unexplainable occurrences, such as objects moving on their own, strange noises, and even ghostly apparitions. The trio was convinced that the haunted doll had somehow found a way to return, despite their efforts to cleanse it. They decided to investigate and discovered that the abandoned house where they had left the doll had been demolished, and a new house had been built on the same spot. They knew that the spirit of the doll was still trapped inside the house. Determined to put an end to the haunting once and for all, they went to the new house and performed another ritual to cleanse the area. This time, they were successful. The haunting stopped, and they never had any more encounters with the haunted doll. The experience taught them a valuable lesson about the power of the supernatural and the importance of respecting it. They realized that they had been foolish to mess with things they didn't understand and vowed never to do it again. Years later, they still talked about the haunted doll and the terrifying experience they had gone through. They knew that they had been lucky to come out of it unscathed and were grateful for the lessons they had learned. They had learned to respect the supernatural and to never underestimate its power. From that day on, they lived their lives with a newfound appreciation for the unknown and a deep respect for the supernatural. They continued to have an interest in it, but were always cautious and never tried to mess with it again. As time went on, they went their separate ways, but they remained close friends. They would often reminisce about their experience with the haunted doll and how it had changed their lives forever. In the end, they realized that the haunted doll had been a warning to them, a lesson that they needed to learn. They knew that they had been lucky to come out of it unscathed and were grateful for the experience that had taught them so much. They knew that the supernatural was not something to be trifled with, and they would always remember the haunted doll as a reminder of that fact. The experience had left an indelible mark on their lives, and they knew that they would never forget it. As time went on, they went their separate ways, but they remained close friends. They would often reminisce about their experience with the haunted doll and how it had changed their lives forever. In the end, they realized that the haunted doll had been a warning to them, a lesson that they needed to learn. They knew that they had been lucky to come out of it unscathed and were grateful for the experience that had taught them so much. They knew that the supernatural was not something to be trifled with, and they would always remember the haunted doll as a reminder of that fact. The experience had left an indelible mark on their lives, and they knew that they would never forget it.
Hey, what's up, guys? This your boy Quan318. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me to grow. And guys, if you really enjoyed the video, please give it a share on social media, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you guys be hanging out at the most. It really helps, and I appreciate it, guys. Also, my goal is to reach at least 1 million loyal subscribers over the next 5 years. Guys, I'm going to give it everything I got and go hard as I can. Hopefully it pays off for me, guys. And y'all going to be a big part of that. And as I grow, you guys will be rewarded for a lot of stuff for helping me participating. And as just a token of my appreciation, guys, the least I can do. Also, guys, make sure you go down in the video description and click the links. Visit all my websites. I done put hella work into these websites, man. Getting them built up, jam-packed with content just for you guys. You know, we got videos. We got the hottest trending offers online. I'm talking about everything, guys. Everything from education, teaching you how to make $1,000 a day online. Like, man, guys, everything that you can think of is on there. So, guys, make sure you go over there, check it out. Click links, watch videos, do your thing, man. I really want you guys to enjoy. I worked hard on it, and I want you guys to really enjoy it, man. So, yeah. Also, guys, while you're down there in the description, make sure you go and check out my other channels. I got links to all of them down below. I worked hard on these channels, guys. I worked hard on my websites. I worked hard on everything for you guys. Make sure you join my Facebook groups. I got Facebook groups set up for every channel that I got, guys. I'm trying to go global, man. You feel me? It's the family, man. This Rich Phantoms, man. I want y'all to be part of Rich Phantoms. Y'all part of the family, man. This a mafia, you feel me? Going worldwide with this shit. But anyway, man, love you guys. Y'all be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.